Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, and today is the day, ladies and gentlemen, that you were waiting for. It's another series video of the series of the top 10 lists, and today top 10 is about all supports and what everything is providing and the supports that is useful and they can be used as tier 3 or not, but you have the option to tier 3 them and use them in multiple game modes from ABX, World Boss Legend, GBR, and all this kind of stuff in PvE and PvP for some of them basically. So let's dive through the top 10. But before we go through that, guys, I want you to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel so you can have more awesome content, and also drop down below in the comments what's your top 10 list or what you want to see next in the top 10 list. Think about something. My ideas are going off. No, I'm just kidding. But yes, drop some ideas about the top 10 list so we can have more stuff like that, because I've seen that you enjoy the top 10 lists. Yeah, let's go to the number 10. Number 10, in my opinion, is Cyclops. It's a mutant. He got multiple tags from being mutant, hero, and villain. Depending on the uniform you're gonna swap on him, he can take a lot of, roles into your roster. He can be also a leader, but because the buff he's doing is so specific, and it's only 30% energy attack, in combined with his leadership, it's really cool. But he has the option to go through villain and hero, but in the same time he can support only 30% energy attack on the energy attacking characters, but in the same time you can utilize him as a leadership. So if you support a character that got energy attack, his leadership and the buff gives him in total 65%. So we have to consider that. But as a support, I feel like he is the worst, 30% uh, energy attack is not that good. So yeah, that's why he's in the 10th place. Let's go to the number 9. Number 9 is Proxima Midnight, and that's because she's kind of expensive. She's native tier 2, native tier 2 that you have to pay more for tier 3, and she get this role as the ninth because she is specific. She's giving a bit of specific support, but it's like 35% damage against supervillain and 30 and 40 against superheroes, but it's only for villain. So it's like in for your half of your roster, but in the same time she provides a really solid leadership that you can utilize in World Boss Legend. Also, she's good for ABX and ABL support and GBR. So she's on an all-arounder, and her leadership is really good in combined with her passive buff. So if you use her as a lead, and let's say Carnage for World Boss Legend provides him 45% ignore dodge and the critical damage and the buff, the 35% against villain, it's a lot. So that's why she is here, but in the same time she is in the ninth place because she buffs also specific type of characters, but she can provide you a really solid support and a really good damage dealer sometimes in ABX, also with the raids, but mainly people using her with the CDP of Insight like Cyclops. So let's go to the number 8. Number 8 is the only PvP support that I'm going to use here, and that's because it's Colossus, and it's the only dude that stays into the meta for PvP long time. A lot of people is utilizing him still now, but he's banned at the moment, but the buff he provides is out of your mind. I mean, this thing here applies to all allies. Decreased damage received from reflect, decreased basic damage received from supervillain and superheroes. So you can use him with whatever team you want, and it provides you 50% less damage taken, less decreased basic damage received. So it's an insane buff, you know. You're putting your Thanos in front and he's in the back, and he can do miracles in timeline battle or alliance conquest. Basically, no, it's specific support for timeline battle, but the value of this character is a lot of years. There is no other that can stay there. The DPS has changed, the Silver Surfers, the Jean Greys, all that stuff, but Colossus is always there supporting the PvP of the game. So yeah, it's not America Chavez, you know. Last month's support for PvP. See, he is insane. He's there always, and his leadership also provides, you know, against teams with physical DPS this ability. So yeah, it's kind of useful also, but I want to have him in the list 100%. I remember him always from 2017. I'm playing the game. He was always there being support. Yeah. So yeah, let's go to the number 7. Number 7 is Ancient One, and he is providing a huge buff, but it's again for specific type of characters. It's not having to do if they are heroes or villains, but has to do if they have elemental damage in their buffs or not. In the same time, he provides a solid leadership, which is only for blast types again. But look at this sweet buff. It's for all allies. So you can have him for Mephisto as a support. You can have him for villains or heroes and provide them 30% all resistance, a supporting buff for defense. Ignore dodge 30%. World Boss Legend is must have. Ignore dodge, most of them at least, except Mephisto, and decrease damage to all elemental. Increase damage to all element damage by 40%, which is really nice. Having a support giving you ignore, dodge, resist, and all elemental. If you combine that to with the leadership, I mean, see, he's giving a huge buff, 90% buff on your energy attack and elemental attack combined, ignore dodge and all resist. So yes, if you're blast type and elemental type and doing elemental damage, I mean like blue dragon, like storm, or if you are Thor and you have your own leadership or another's leadership, this guy can support you really easy peasy. He is the dude, and yeah, he totally deserves being in that list, and he's that far from the top 5, let's say, because he only provides that to blast types, the leadership at least, and the support buff for only elemental ones. Let's go to the number 6. Number 6 is Wave, and from the one side, she is easier to combine and make a good team with her. She's usable in ABX, she's usable in multiple content, but in the same time, she's supporting only heroes. So her passive ability is only to hero allies, but it's a huge number. It's 50%. No one can ignore that, and in the same time she is providing a really solid leadership, 25% all attack. If you combine that to okay, you can play with Namor, but yeah, there's no such thing. No one is playing at the moment with Namor, but in the future with Black Panther coming, this character could skyrocket her value if they do him hero instead of villain. This is gonna be crazy. He gonna get a solid 135 from here. But at the moment, I'm not gonna dream. I'm gonna tell about her value without using Namor, which is really nice. 75% in total, above 25% lead and 50% from the passive ability is really nice and respectful. But in the same time, she's supporting only heroes. It's more than 50% of your roster, but still, you need to know that you can't really use her with villain allies, with Carnage, my boy. So yeah, you can. she's kind of specific, but she's meta support for World Boss Legend, for ABX, ABL. There's multiple content that you need here if you want to go at the top, for sure. Let's go to the top 5 and the number 5. And as wavies, Fox also, they are crystal wall, but not huge amount. If you have the tickets, you can both characters. But Fox here is going crazy. She can give you huge amount of support if you have the right tags. That's the only bad thing. And the point is that it's not even only that, you have to go and buy a paywall uniform to have this huge amount of stats in your in your supporting. Look at this, it's for all hero allies, again only heroes, but it's 10% chain hit, 15% all attack, 30% ignore dodge, and in the same time you can get from here, if you have the leadership tag, 65% against all supervillains. So you can use this character just as a support and get a buff of 80% damage against the supervillains, and also ignore dodge and also chain hit. So there is so many offensive buffs. This is really cool. And there is some defensive decrease basic damage from supervillain, but most of the people is using here for PvE, and she's quite good for ABL, ABX, World Boss Legend also, and GBR. And she's supporting meta characters like Thor, like Blue Dragon, like older leadership tag like Moon Knight. You can utilize here with multiple characters, but in the same time she's only for only for the leadership tag, and with here uniform only for all heroes. That's why I place here into the 5th place. So think about the first 4. Let's go to the number 4. Of course, Mystique, Raven got a place here, and I want to mention that the rest of the characters I'm showcasing here, they need their latest uniform to have these stats and these effects and being so good. I mean, you can utilize Ancient One without the uniform, but the buffs he's giving is way less. But the girl here, Mystique, is rocking it without a uniform. She is more than 2 years in the game and there's no update for her. She just dropped their awaken, and she can still carry your support of your account through all the game modes, through all the characters. If you have this character, you are dropping it, and you have to think about, is a lead, is a villain, it's a hero, it's elemental damage, is whatever. You know what? I want support. Okay, bring in Mystique gonna carry this. She's giving 40% damage against supervillain and 45 against superhero. That makes her usable for every single character in every single game mode. You can play with her in PvP, and using her in PvP and support the other characters to kill the others faster. You can utilize her for ABL, ABX, for mutant days, for World Boss Legend. The value of this character, it was always good, but now that you have to see the tags and see the small letters, you have Mystique, there's no problem, my bro. You go through here and she always gonna provide you a clear good support, and you need to pay some crystals of course, but still, she totally worth it. Still, after all these years without getting a uniform or an update or anything, she's just supporting you whatever you do. Let's go to the number 3. In the number 3 is Taskmaster, and perhaps feels like kind of off having him, but the point is that except the specific support he got, which is this one, which is kind of weird. I mean, yes, ignore dodge, skill damage, bonus damage, and guarding critical weight, it's really nice buffs, but it's only for specific type of characters, weapon master abilities. But the thing is that he or she, basically in the game it's he, but from the movie we know it's a she. So C provides the uniform effect that is similar to Mystique, but in the same time he giving an extra buff to weapon allies. So he couldn't be less than Mystique because he provides the 40% also himself, and so you can use him PvP, PvE. You can slap him all the way anytime, but if you manage to have Moon Knight or someone with the Weapon Master ability, anyone else, there is a lot. Blade, there is Wolverine, there is a lot of characters, but I'm just saying Moon Knight, who happens to be meta for multiple game modes these days. This dude supports him crazy, but also you can slap him every single day, everywhere, and get a solid support. He's quite cool. You need his uniform from the other side, but he's solid. You can use him always and everywhere. And let's go to the number 2. And the number 2 is Sif. Sif couldn't be here if the current meta is with 4 combat types. And what I'm talking about. Okay, she's getting the place here just because she got the buff from her uniform, from the latest uniform, that she provides 45% damage against boss types for all allies, which is huge. This thing is huge. It's giving you a huge buff, 45% all allies. That's the keyword. But in the same time, Taskmaster and Mystique, they got their self leadership, some stuff. There's no other way you can get support from these dudes. They're just providing you 40% solid buff. Okay, Taskmaster, if you have Weapon Master, it's not a lot of characters that is meta and have that. But our girl Sif, in the same time giving this support, she's giving a solid leadership for every single combat type, even if you're villain or hero, and it's 35% physical attack and 30% HP. With that way, you can double support your Hulk, you can support your Carnage, you can support your Venom or Moon Knight. There is a lot of characters that can get extra buffs except the 45%, and they're actually meta. And she's really useful for combat female day also. If you don't have any other like Titania or Valkyrie, she can provide you a solid DPS for this day also. But the best way to use her at the moment is with the CDP of Insight, because let's say you're using her for combat female, the other 2 characters gonna be Titania and Valkyrie, and they have the raids, so you want an insight. The insight fits perfectly in this girl and provides you all these supports for multiple game modes. So yes, let's go to the number 1. And the number 1 of this list is no one than Valkyrie, which is the best support for so much time long. And that's because she gives to all allies 55% increased damage to supervillain, and sorry Batman Magic, I can't right now, and decrease basic damage received from supervillain. So she is not PvP for sure, but she is giving so sweet buff. I mean, 35% ignore dodge and 55% damage against supervillain. It's huge for GBR, for World Boss Legend, for ABX, ABL. It's like the other 3 in the category previously, like Mystique, like Taskmaster and Sif, but on steroids, 10% more, and also ignore targets dots. I mean, it's like you're getting something in sales and you're getting an extra gift. She's an all-arounder. She can support everyone. Her leadership, it's not something that you can combine. She doesn't have any extra buff, but this only support buff, it's insane. It's insane. She's a really nice DPS also, and there is no way you can say that Valkyrie is gonna lose her value. I mean, she's there last 5 years for sure in the top supports, and still there, and that's why she takes the first place, and she is the #1 support in the game at the moment. I didn't want to I'm gonna talk about generally the list. I didn't want to put characters like Nicholas Fury, like Coulson, and saying you that their buffs are crazy, because these two dudes they're not at the moment awakened or tier 3s. So yeah, Ghost Panther also is really good support, but provides really good help only on fire characters. So I couldn't put him also as a tier 2 and providing support only for this type of characters. Or Agent Venom, it's only symbiotes. There is not a lot of symbiotes, and for the other characters he's giving 0 buffs. It's not like Taskmaster. Agent Venom is for specific, and there is multiple other supports. But these 10 finds myself using them daily for all these game modes every day. I mean, there's no other day I miss using these characters. The only character I'm not using, but I'm seeing huge amount of people using, it's Colossus. That's why I dropped him, because I feel like it provides help for players that got low quality PvP teams. He skyrockets their value, and he can help you grind through this game mode timeline battle. So yes, it is what it is. Thank you for being here. I'm glad I helped you to build your next support, and see you in the next. Bye bye to everyone.